Death toll from Typhoon Mangkhut stands at 69. Hurricane Florence has killed 17. The death toll from Typhoon Mangkhut has risen to 69 across the Philippines and China, but dozens of people remain missing. Mangkhut has weakened from a typhoon to a tropical storm as it moves deeper into southern China, but more than 2.4 million people had to be evacuated from one province alone. Officials report 65 people were killed in the Philippines, while the death toll in China stood at 4 earlier this morning. Meanwhile, in the United States, Hurricane Florence has claimed the lives of 17 people, including a 3-month-old baby. Florence has been downgraded to a tropical depression but remains massive, with radar showing parts of the storm over 6 southeastern states. Novichok not the reason why 2 people fell ill in Salisbury. Police have ruled out the nerve agent Novichok as the reason why 2 people fell ill in Salisbury yesterday. A major incident was declared when a man in his 40s and a woman in her 30s became unwell at a prezzo restaurant in the city, with roads cordoned off and emergency services staff donning protective suits. The pair were rushed to Salisbury District Hospital, but police have said this morning there is nothing to indicate they were exposed to Novichok. Boris Johnson attacks Brexit negotiations again. Britain is heading full throttle for a total write-off of Brexit if it continues with Theresa May's plans for the Irish border, Boris Johnson has claimed. The former Foreign Secretary has again used his newspaper column to attack the government's negotiations, saying the EU's fallback position for the border would mean Northern Ireland was annexed by Brussels. It comes amid reports the EU is preparing to accept use of technology to avoid the need for new border infrastructure. A new poll released this morning claims half the public believe Brexit will have a negative impact on the country, while an overwhelming majority are critical of the government's handling of the exit talks. Storm Helena unlikely to cause a risk to lives in UK. Forecasters have downgraded warnings that Storm Helena could pose a risk to life when it hits the UK this week, but warned coastal communities to stay vigilant. A spokesman for the Met Office said Helena could fell a few trees, which could bring disruption to transport links, but did not think it would reach the 70 miles per hour winds originally predicted. It is still due to bring unseasonably warm weather in London and the southeast too, as the low pressure draws up warm air from the south. Game of Thrones hoping for record Emmy haul. Game of Thrones could match its own record for the most Emmy wins by a series in a single season at the most prestigious awards show in U.S. television. HBO's fantasy epic won 7 categories at the Creative Arts Emmys last week and could pick up another 5 at tonight's primetime Emmys. That would equal its record haul of 12 it won in both 2015 and 2016. On this day, 1745, the Jacobites, under the Young Pretender, occupied Edinburgh. 1787, 39 delegates, out of 42, under the chairmanship of George Washington, approved the Constitution of the United States of America. 1827, wides in cricket were first scored in the Sussex v Kent game at Brighton. 1931, long playing records, 33 revolutions per minute, were demonstrated in New York by RCA Victor, but the venture failed because of the high price of the players, and the first real microgroove records did not appear until 1948. 1944, the British airborne invasion of Arnhem and Eindhoven in the Netherlands began as part of Operation Market Garden. The objective was to secure a bridge over the Rhine as part of an Allied invasion of Germany, but after a battle which lasted until September 27, the attempt failed. 1944, blackout regulations were lifted to allow lights on buses, trains and at railway stations in Britain for the first time for 5 years. More about headlines.